Picture this. You're stuck at your desk, the clock ticking closer to noon, your stomach growling loud enough to drown out the hum of the office. You got a mountain of work piling up, phones ringing off the hook, and your one chance to grab a quick lunch is slipping away. Why? Because your coworker, the one guy who makes your work life absolute hell, just slipped out the door for an early lunch, leaving you to drown in his mess. That was my life, day after day, until I found a way to turn the tables. Stick around, because this petty revenge story is going to hit you right in the feels with a satisfying dose of justice. If you've ever dreamed of giving someone who wronged you a taste of their own medicine, you're in for a treat. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss a single one of these Reddit revenge stories. Trust me, this one's going to leave you grinning from ear to ear. Let's rewind to the early 2000s. I was 24, scraping by in a cramped office at a logistics company in the middle of nowhere. The place wasn't much to look at. Flickering fluorescent lights, faded carpet, and the faint smell of burnt coffee lingering in the air. My job was data entry, punching numbers into a computer, double-checking forms, answering emails from clients who always seemed to be in a bad mood. It wasn't my dream job, but it was a paycheck, and I needed it. I was saving up, hoping to move out of my tiny apartment and maybe, just maybe, land something better someday. But there was one thing, one person, making that job unbearable. His name was Chad. Chad was the kind of guy who could make your blood boil just by walking into the room. Early 30s, loud, cocky, with a smirk that screamed he thought he was better than everyone else. He'd stroll in 10 minutes late every morning, his cologne hitting you like a punch before you even saw him. He'd plop down at his desk, crack open a Red Bull, and start bragging about his weekend. Parties, girls, you name it, whether anyone cared or not. The guy acted like the office was his personal stage, and we were all just background characters in his show. But Chad's real talent was slacking off. He had this knack for disappearing right when the work got heavy. Deadlines piling up, Chad was in a meeting. Clients blowing up the phone, he was running an errand. And lunch breaks, that's where he really showed his true colors. See, our office had a strict lunch schedule. We were a small team, so we had to stagger our breaks to keep things running. Most days we were slammed, orders flooding in, phones ringing nonstop, managers hovering like vultures. Lunch was my one moment of peace, a chance to scarf down a sandwich and just breathe. But Chad didn't care about the team. If things got busy, he'd glance at his watch, mutter something about needing a break, and slip out early, sometimes a full hour before his scheduled lunch. That left me and our other co-worker, Lisa, to pick up the slack. I'd be stuck at my desk, my stomach twisting with hunger, my turkey sandwich sitting uneaten in the break room fridge. I can still feel the way my jaw would clench, the heat creeping up my neck, every time I heard the door swing shut behind him. One time, I caught him smirking as he left, like he knew exactly what he was doing and loved every second of it. It wasn't just annoying, it felt personal, like he was saying, "You're not important enough to matter." I tried talking to him once. I waited until we were alone in the break room, my hands sweaty, my voice shaking just a little. "Hey, Chad, it's really tough when you leave early like that. We're swamped, and I can't even take my break." He just chuckled, patted my shoulder like I was some kid, and said, "Relax, man. You're young. You can handle it." I wanted to scream. I wasn't a kid. I was only a few years younger than him, and I was doing his job half the time. My hands balled into fists as he walked away, that stupid smirk still plastered on his face. I thought about going to our manager, Karen, but she was useless. She was a let's all get along type, always dodging conflict. Complaining to her was like shouting into a void. So Chad kept getting away with it, and I kept getting screwed. Have you ever worked with someone like that? Someone who makes you dread walking into the office, who takes advantage of everyone else and doesn't care. I bet you're nodding right now, because we've all been there. For me, it went on for months. Chad's lunch breaks got longer, sometimes an hour and a half. He'd come back sipping a soda, joking with the warehouse guys, while I was still at my desk, eating my lunch in 5-minute bites between phone calls. My co-workers noticed. Lisa would give me these sympathetic looks, muttering, "He's such a jerk." But she wasn't the type to rock the boat. I started dreading work. Every morning, I'd wake up with this heavy, sinking feeling in my gut, knowing I'd have to deal with him again. One day, it all came to a head. We were hit with a massive order backlog, hundreds of forms to process, servers crashing, phones ringing nonstop. It was chaos. I was running on fumes, my eyes burning from staring at the screen, my head pounding. Chad, of course, was nowhere to be found. He'd slipped out at 11:30, leaving me and Lisa to drown. When he finally sauntered back in at 1:15, laughing with one of the delivery guys, I felt something snap inside me. I wasn't just angry, I was humiliated, exhausted, and done. I wanted to march up to him and tell him exactly what I thought, but I knew it wouldn't do any good. He'd just laugh it off, and I'd feel even worse. That night, I was the last one to punch out. My whole body felt heavy, like I was carrying the weight of the day on my shoulders. I dragged myself to the break room to grab my bag, and that's when I saw it. Chad's Chronos badge sitting on top of the fridge. It was one of those magnetic strip cards we use to clock in and out. He must have left it there during one of his marathon lunch breaks, too careless to keep track of it. Next to it were a few promotional magnets, a calendar from a car wash, a pizza shop ad, that kind of thing. I froze, staring at the badge. My heart started pounding, not with fear, but with something else, something sharp and electric. An idea hit me, small and dangerous, like a spark in a dry forest. I stood there for a long moment, my breath shallow, my mind racing. I could just leave it, keep my head down, stay out of trouble. But then I thought about Chad's smirk, his patronizing, relaxed man, the way he'd left me to drown in work while he sipped his soda. No, he didn't get to keep doing this. Not anymore. I glanced around the break room. It was empty, the only sound the soft ticking of the clock on the wall. My hand moved almost on its own. I grabbed the car wash magnet, ran it over the magnetic strip on Chad's badge, back and forth, over and over, until I was sure the data was scrambled. My hands were steady, but my pulse was racing like I'd just run a sprint. I placed the badge back exactly where I found it, grabbed my bag, and walked out. For the first time in months, I felt a flicker of something like hope. The next morning, I got to work early. I didn't usually do that, but I needed to see what happened. Chad swaggered in, late as always, his cologne announcing him before he reached the time clock. He swiped his badge. Nothing. He swiped it again, his brows furrowing. "What the hell?" he muttered, loud enough for the whole office to hear. He tried a third time, his face turning red, his jaw tightening. I kept my head down, pretending to type, but I was watching from the corner of my eye, my heart pounding with excitement. Chad stormed over to Karen's office, waving his badge like it was a broken toy. "My badge isn't working," he shouted. Karen, flustered as usual, told him to head to HR for a replacement. "You'll have to go during your lunch break," she said, her voice apologetic. Chad's jaw dropped. "My lunch break? Are you serious?" He stomped off, muttering curses under his breath, and I had to bite the inside of my cheek to keep from smiling. HR was on the other side of the building, a solid 10-minute walk. Getting a new badge wasn't quick. You had to fill out forms, verify your ID, wait for the machine to print a new one. I knew Chad's precious lunch hour was gone when he came back. He was fuming, tossing his new badge onto his desk with a scowl that could have melted steel. For the first time in forever, I felt like I'd won. It wasn't much, but it was something. I could still feel that spark in my chest, that tiny thrill of knowing I'd gotten under his skin. But I wasn't done. The next week, I walked into the break room, and there it was again, Chad's badge right on top of fridge. My heart skipped a beat. Was he really that careless? I didn't hesitate this time. I grabbed the same magnet, scrubbed the badge until I was sure it was useless, and put it back. The next morning, it was like watching a rerun. Chad swiped his badge, cursed loudly, and stormed off to HR again. Lisa gave me a curious look, like she suspected something, but I just shrugged, my face blank. Inside, I was buzzing with adrenaline, like I just pulled off a heist. The third week, it happened again. I couldn't believe my luck. Chad kept leaving his badge in the same spot, like he was daring me to do it. So I did, 3 times in 3 weeks. I erased his badge, forcing him to waste his lunch breaks trekking to HR. Each time, he got angrier, his frustration spilling over like a pot boiling over. He'd slam his fist on his desk, rant about the stupid chrono system, and glare at anyone who made eye contact. One day, he even accused the IT guy of sabotaging the time clock, which made me stifle a laugh. I stayed quiet, my head down, but inside I was soaring. It was like I'd found a secret superpower, quiet, invisible, but oh so effective. To add a little extra chaos, I decided to push it one step further. The fourth week, before I could check the fridge, I noticed Chad was being extra careful with his badge. He wasn't leaving it out anymore. So, one day, I slipped a fake note under his keyboard when he was out. It was typed and signed, made to look like it came from HR. Please ensure your badge is stored securely. Repeated replacements may result in disciplinary action. It was a bluff, but it worked. I saw him read it, his face paling, his eyes darting around like he was looking for a hidden camera. He started carrying his badge in his wallet, checking it obsessively before leaving his desk. He even stopped taking those long lunch breaks, sticking to the schedule like the rest of us. That was it. The moment I knew I'd won. Chad's badge never showed up on the fridge again. His lunch breaks got shorter, and he stopped slipping out early when we were busy. For the first time in months, I could eat my lunch in peace, without the constant pressure of covering for him. My shoulders relaxed, the knot in my chest loosened, and I felt this quiet, glowing sense of triumph. I never told anyone what I did, not Lisa, not my friends, not even my girlfriend at the time. It was my secret, a small act of rebellion that made those miserable months bearable. Chad never suspected me. He was too busy blaming the time clock, HR, the universe, anyone but the quiet guy at the desk next to him. Looking back, I don't regret a single thing. Was it petty? Absolutely. But sometimes the smallest act of justice feels the biggest. Chad thought he could walk all over me, treat me like I didn't matter, but I showed him he wasn't untouchable. Karma doesn't always come in a big, dramatic moment. Sometimes it's a quiet swipe of a magnet, a tiny act that hits just right. I learned something from all this. You don't always have to yell or fight to stand up for yourself. Sometimes the best revenge is the kind no one sees coming. If this story gave you that sweet, satisfying rush of justice, smash that like button and drop a comment below. What's the pettiest thing you've ever done to get even? Or maybe you've worked with Chad of your own. Tell us about it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for more Reddit revenge stories that'll keep you hooked. Until next time, keep fighting the good fight.